I wanted to know your thoughts on. I wanted to know the difference. What's the difference here?
Yes, yes.
Tell me what you think the difference is between Summer Richardson and Renee Gracie. Because Summer Richardson, now she's had that sponsorship deal for 2 years.
Yes,
This is not a new thing. She didn't just rock up one day with OnlyFans on the car,
yes,
and they said no. In 23 and 24, she was campaigning the OnlyFans car. I think it's a top alcohol dragster. This year, the NHRA, with less than a month to go to the start of the season, have said no, can't do it anymore. You need to remove that.
it's really interesting, and I do have a bit to comment on it. Have you seen the Renee Gracie documentary?
I haven't, but I am urged to watch it. Johnny watched it, and Johnny has urged me to watch it, but I haven't done that yet.
it is very interesting, and I'm not too sure how much really you want me to be saying about this topic, but she is racing now in a class that accepts her racing with the sponsorship of OnlyFans. So she wants to go V8 supercars. That's not going to happen because of her OnlyFans sponsorship. Now, with Summer Richardson, yes, she has been running her OnlyFans sponsorship for 2 years. It was a very prompt decision from NHRA. They've made the decision to ban her from using that sponsorship, 6 weeks before season starting. Now, to accept it and then take it away, that's one thing. But when OnlyFans first came out sponsoring Summer Richardson, OnlyFans were promoting a rebrand. So they were rebranding when they signed with Summer Richardson. They were promoting a rebrand of paid content, and that kind of sexualized side was supposed to be separate. If you think now, there's paid subscriptions of Instagram, where if you want to get the up close and personal information from the people that you follow, then you pay the subscription service and then you get access to that. I know that a lot of people use that for education purposes. So I know some people that are, for example, my hairdresser. She's got a large following, and she sells her Instagram subscription based on then educating other hairdressers what to use, what products to use, how much percentage to use of each thing. So OnlyFans was like remarketing to go down that avenue, and that was before Instagram were doing that. When Summer Richardson came out with the sponsorship, it was all about the rebranding of OnlyFans. But then you slowly start to see the crossover and some more risque photos still coming across. And I think that if you are behind the rebranding of it going in that direction and being separate to the sexualized pornography, realistically, that's what it is, because they can do that on there. Some of them are just photos in bikinis, and some of them do the whole lot. You really need to have a clear line that you're not crossing over into that section. And Summer Richardson, there started to be some bikini photos on her cars and lingerie photos on the cars, and I don't think that is a clear separation between the promotion of the two different types of OnlyFans subscriptions. I haven't really seen much else of the OnlyFans subscription that was being marketed when Summer Richardson first brought them on. But yeah, I think the crossover was enough for the NHRA to see it as something that they didn't want the NHRA to be affiliated with.
Okay. Look,
It's interesting, and definitely when the Renee Gracie documentary is quite eye-opening, but you do have to think of who's watching on the other side, and if you are then drawing spectators to those websites, you want to make sure that you're sending the right message. And it's really hard, and realistically it comes down to how you want to parent your child. But when it is an open slather, when it's being so available at these events, so available to have marketed, you can't really control that. And it's really hard to then idolize these female racers in one way, but then not want to idolize them in another. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I have 2 young daughters. I would be very mindful of then giving someone high praise in one area, but then try and shield their eyes from their other, how they make their money. For Renee Gracie's sense, I don't know the full extent of Summer Richardson's involvement with her OnlyFans, but yeah, it's something that's really, it's just got a big caution sign. Taking it away once you've originally agreed to it, and 6 weeks before season starting, when you've already spent money, committed to other sponsorships, I think they could have at least said, hey, this will be the last season, and give her a bit more, because she's probably now having to pay back for other sponsors if she can't front events. Probably spent money that she's already been given. So yeah, I do feel for that. But the reasons of should OnlyFans be a marketed sponsor under the NHRA, it's just got a big caution for me. But with saying that, if they're going to make that call, they've got to make sure that call's being set across other things as well.
I was just about to say that.
Companies.
Yeah. So online betting as well. So if I don't have a problem with what you're saying. I agree. But I think if the sport is in, then they're in.
Yeah.
They're in knee deep with everything. So they've got to have that consistency across the board. So online betting, all those sorts of betting apps. I don't know. I'm talking out of school here because I don't know if the NHRA has any of those agreements.
They definitely used to. I'm not.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's coming to mind at the moment, but they definitely used to. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It really is a can of worms that they're opening it up, because then when you go into the online betting, then do you go into, we've already done the cigarettes, do you go into the alcohol?
All those things are vices, aren't they?
Yeah.
And they're all that 18 plus vice that the alcohol, we kind of say, it's okay.
Yeah, just have that message of like drink responsibly.
Yeah.
I suppose what's the caution message behind visiting pornography sites, or with something like OnlyFans where it's kind of encouraging you to become one yourself?
It's a problem. It's a problem in Australia. It's a problem in the world. But I think I'm really mindful of sports being plain judge and jury on social issues. I get a little bit nervous about it all.
Yeah.
The AFL are in even way, way more than the NHRA. The AFL are making judgment calls on all sorts of things that I don't think they should be.
Yeah.
Leave it to society to decide. But I found it interesting that in the GT Championship, the Fanatec GT Championship, Renee Gracie has been able to market the OnlyFans quite easily and with no problem at all, and has probably brought some eyes to the sport. And I have to watch the documentary now that you've reminded me. Johnny's told me numerous times to watch it. I'm going to watch it.
It's really interesting because she has the success, she has the skill, but the angle that she puts onto it is that when she first got introduced into the supercar scene, they were wanting to use her as the appearance model, and they were, wanting to use that as the target market, and use that to their advantage. Now that she is doing it herself, if you've got the money, why can't you race? So yeah, it's seeing it from their own point of view. Definitely opens your eyes up to it, and you just feel like, you know, they are being blocked from what they are deserving to do because they've got the skill behind them. But then, you know, it does then go to a shot where there's kids lining up and they're getting poster signs and photos taken, and you know, being in a smaller scale position like that myself, and being a mum, I'm just so conscious that what I do in front of my girls, but what I am saying, wearing in front of spectators that I'm being told are idolizing me and being inspired by me. I just want to make sure that I'm doing what I can to, you know, set them off on the best track, and yeah, it's a tricky one. That's
It is a very tricky one. We'll move on as well.